So we've had over the years a few people, and I don't know who they are or who said it or how they came up with it. They said that they were concerned about the integrity of their data and who had access to that information. So we wanted to make sure that we talk a little bit about that today as well, and make sure you understand that the whole idea behind Fusion is to take your farm and run it on your farm and keep the information on your farm. So we are putting you in control of your information. So anything that's saved to the server is saved to the server. There's very, very little being sent out to our central server, which is kept in Waterton. I believe it's still in Waterton. So we'll have some very, very basic information. We'll have an average head count. We'll have some billing information, customer information for billing. I can put some information up on the screen here that'll kind of show you what we go through. So. I can't remember where I put that. Okay, so who can see your data? So if we go onto the Fusion website, you can see who can see your data. So occasionally we hear of misconceptions regarding Fusion. So one of these is obviously that we're sending the data out, or we're collecting the data at a central server, and that's just not the case. In some ways, it'd be easier for us to store it all on a central server. Would have made support a lot less complex for us, but that's not what we're after. We're after putting the information in your hands. Of course, there are some ways to send information from your server to us if we're looking at things like low memory. So some server health data. So we're notified when a backup begins and ends. This allows us to make sure that we ensure that your data is safe. We're notified when the server is launched or shut down. So some of you have had calls from me just asking why your server shut down or what's going on. Is there a power issue? It comes down to just education and communication. So sometimes it's the operating system. Sometimes it's a power issue. Sometimes it's a network issue. Sometimes it's a full hard drive or who knows. So that's one thing where I get text all the time of servers shutting down and restarting. So it's good to be able to have that information so I can call you and track it down. Each night, Fusion will perform an integrity check and make sure that your data and index files are good and they pass and there's no corruption. Without that, we couldn't feed our cattle and couldn't do any processing. When Fusion crashes, some information is sent to us, like an error number, error method, any line codes, just to make sure that we can track it down and see what's going on and why. Canon has a large book at home that has all the codes in it, I imagine. I don't know. He has some sort of cataloging of information that I don't need to understand. So I call him and I double check on some error codes sometimes. And then license keys, obviously, they're automatically refreshed. So every month we have to send you a new license key. That information gets sent to us if it's out, or if you need a new one, it looks back on billing information, and then based on that, it gets auto regenerated. And then we look at your head count. Your head count is actually, it says 365 days. So we try and keep that as loose as we can as well, because we don't need to know what's at your feedlot, and we don't really care what's at your feedlot at the time. It doesn't help us or doesn't give us any advantage. So we look at your average head count over the last 90 days. It was the last 365, and it was a pain when trying to deal with billing, and so we shrunk it up to 90 days. So, and then obviously when a customer first gets set up, we use it for billing purposes to make sure that we have the right phone number, address, email. So with that's the entire list. We kind of go painstakingly open in a lot of areas where we set things up, and we put it, like our whole resource guide is online. Our whole support system, our email list, our documentation, Fusion videos on YouTube. There are two ways that you can kind of do business, right? You can kind of hold it in and protect it and build your business kind of undercover as much as you can and protect things, or you can just kind of open the doors and say, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and try and stay a step ahead. And that's kind of the approach that we've taken. Definitely there's a lot of things that have been taken, have been used, and have been replicated in other systems or other countries, or who knows. The point is that we're trying to make sure that we do things the way we think they should be done, and hopefully it builds a healthier industry. And because we've done it first, hopefully we'll just keep staying ahead. So that's who can see your information. Whoever you let in, whoever you bring in, whoever you export that information to, that's who can see it. Outside of that, it sits in your office. So if you hear somebody saying something to the contrary, for sure go ahead and let them know what's actually happening. So.